Good morning, good evening, good day to all of you, wherever you are around the world. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance to welcome everyone to this program to represent GCEA in supporting this unique and important event. Global Clinical Engineering Alliance is demonstrating its support through the engagement of the global clinical engineering leader you all know, Tom Judd, who serves on the World Health Innovation Forum Governing Board, and through supporting and organizing this webinar. I hope it will give you the information and the details of how to apply, how to submit your application, and all the answer to your question in other areas relating to this unique program. You know, in reviewing the registration for this webinar, one cannot but become overwhelmed with the global response to our invitation to join us today. If you just look at the variety of the job titles among the registrants, there are about 20 different titles. You will find among them clinical engineers, biomedical engineers, technicians, and if I look to refresh my memory, doctors, physicians, nurses, even pharmacists, a manager, a consultant, a quality improvement specialist, professors, and a controller, administrator, etc., etc. All this indicating that everyone is interested in learning about health technology innovation life cycle and how to become more involved in that. Our healthcare systems are facing numerous challenges, and this fellowship program offers a unique collaboration between AMTZ, Kalam Institute, academia, industry, international alliance, and public-private collaboration. It is very unique. It is placed in Vizag, India. It's about bringing the capacity to visualize through an international angle solutions to local healthcare challenges facilitated by the expertise of the international faculty. The board of the World Health Innovation member are here today to help answer questions. Through insertion into this environment that include creativity, engineering design, prototyping, testing, manufacturing, and production, this lead to the creation of new technological tools, new methods and processes that you, the fellow, will be able to address to a specific needs and solve your local health problems. This is an amazing, simple concept. Think about it. In 1590, a Dutch scientist invented the microscope and became the first person to be able to see and describe bacteria. I don't have to tell you what that did to the ability to fight diseases. He is considered to be the father of microbiology. Innovation impacts every aspect of our lives, and in particular, health, care, and wellness. These programs offer the opportunity to see the bacteria, and it is up to you, the selected fellows, to apply it. This webinar is designed to help you to understand how to submit the application, how to join the program, what are the requirements, and what it will be offering you. So on behalf of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, I'm honored to share this program with Dr. Jitendra Sharma in wishing you success and apologize on behalf that he is unable to personally join us as he is boarding a flight that was delayed, unfortunately, right now. With that, I will move on to Remy.
And Remy, just before you begin, Tom Judd here. Just let you know the Q&A function is available to you for questions that we'll deal with later. And then on your show captions that you can hear in different languages, you can have captions done. So check that out at the bottom of your screen. And Remy from AMTZ, take it away.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you so much, Professor Yadin. You have very rightly mentioned that what the program is going to do and how it is going to empower. So I'm Rimi Thapa. I'm from AMTZ. I head the communications, media, and the events department, and I'm honored that I'm here among you all. And coming back to the fellowship, if I can just simply introduce in a minute that if we see the history of medical devices in just last decade, we can find that there are no much invention in the field of medical devices that has happened. It may be the upgrade or the innovation; these things have gone that has upgraded the medical device, that existing medical devices that are there. So this is very important that we look into it. And this is a platform because AMTZ is the world's largest medical device manufacturing cluster, for your information. So this is, I think, a very unique place and a platform that we can all come together and find out ways to not only innovate but invent. If you have an idea that we can address at a national level, and we can scale up and we can reach out to different parts of the world and provide the kind of products and services that is required in the field of medical devices. So yes, it's a 6 months program, an unique opportunity to learn and develop and work together with all the experts from across the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Remy. And we're going to tee up, I hope, a video that talks more about Hope everybody heard that. And now you're going to hear from Dr. David and I about this program. In a recording.
Hi, Tom. So great to be with you again and have a little time to talk about innovation and what does it mean.
Yadin, I'm excited. You did a great introduction there with Jatinder a few minutes ago, and now we're going to talk about the fellowship program from our perspective. First, we got three things we're going to talk about today. A little bit about the forum from 2023 to help us understand innovation, a little bit more. Then we're going to look at some frequently asked questions about this fellowship program, and then last, give a very brief case study that we've seen among the several proposals so far. So first, Yadin, the World Health Innovation Forum 2023, you talked about the numbers of folks that were there. You know, we had our Congress, our folks stayed, and then all these health leaders from around the world came. What did they talk about? And very briefly, they talked about the innovation in the public sector, in the Ministry of Health public sector, and how can governments support the innovation ecosystem and what they need. And in that forum over the 3 days, they talked about 6 stages of innovation where you articulate demand, you scan, assess, and select, you identify a scaling pathway, you attract, reallocate resources for innovation, you implement, learn, and iterate, and then you institutionalize. So you got to get them funded, you got to get them well identified, you got to get people to buy in, but then you keep going. So Yadin, that was a little bit about last year, but why are you and I qualified to talk about this topic? What have we done about innovation?
I tell you, immediately as you talk about the word innovation and healthcare, come to mind the year 1590, long time ago, but it was a critical year because that when the microscope, the practical microscope, was invented in the by Dutch scientists. And you know what? Nobody thought about what it can do for health, but it was that Dutch scientist in 1590 that was able to be the first person to see the bacteria and describe it. And from there on, we could do tremendous things to fight diseases. So maybe not on the same scale, but immediately after the pandemic started hitting the world all over, left, right, up and down the continents, World Health Organization geared up and called for innovation that can specifically address the pandemic in low and middle income countries. We were called to help the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance to help.
Hey, you mean we, you and me. Okay, keep going.
I agree. We were called to help to develop methods to assess respondents to call for action by WHO, what our innovations are actually going to be impacting patient outcome because of the COVID. And as a result, we came up with a World Health Innovation Compendium in 2021 and 2022 with a methodology that describes how clinical engineers, financial people, physicians, and other support staff can evaluate if specific innovation that is proposed to be further developed is going to be impacting healthcare the way that anticipate. The scope was medical devices, protection equipment for personnel, oxygen creation and distribution, digital health tools that were so significant, and how to sterilize and treat environment and provide mobile clinical spaces. It was awesome. I believe we contributed a lot, and it's always great to be with you. We seem to be intriguing each other to innovate. And today, we are going to talk about specifically how the Kalam and AMTZ can produce a program for innovation that are expected to be part of this fellow program. And in those issues, I would like to ask you, what kind of proposal you think that this program will consist of?
And Yadin, I'm going to answer that, but quickly, even though it was true that WHO gave the contract to GCEA and to you and I as leaders there for this innovation compendia, we engaged 100 of our colleagues around the world, particularly in LMICs, to help us do that evaluation. So we got asked, but we brought our friends to the table to help. So
absolutely, absolutely.
So the question now, as we've switched to frequently asked questions about the fellow program, is what kind of innovations are expected now? And it's been on the website. I believe it's on the website again today. The proposal should detail the following. And so it's bigger than health technologies. It's, all kinds of innovations that are possible. that those of you on the line today, there's almost nothing in health that'll improve healthcare delivery that's not in the scope of what is possible here. So the proposal should detail cross-cutting nature and global scalability of a health issue you're trying to attack, its impact on global health systems. There's existing gaps or challenges in the current health infrastructure related to this issue. There's innovations of solutions or technology that can effectively address and identify health problems. And last, a letter of recognition of the problem statement from the applicant's government authority, like the Minister of Health or one of the Ministry of Health leaders. And we're going to give a case study here in a moment quickly, but back to you, Yadin.
Yes, that's the good understanding of the process. We are presently in healthcare that is somewhat fragmented, and we want to improve it. The future of healthcare, that's what this fellow program is about. How do we create the future healthcare that we all desire to have with local applications? So wherever you come from, the idea of this proposal is that it should be pertain to your local condition. That's what's beautiful about it. Take a general idea of innovation and progress and apply it to your local condition. So, Tom, how does someone submit a proposal?
There is a World Health Innovation Forum website that will be shown during this webinar. And there's a pop-up screen that says, here's how you submit a proposal.
Excellent. And if I go there and I suddenly struggle to find a response to a question or a comment on the form, who can help us or the proposed submitter?
There's two easy answers and many more, but our collaborative network, between GCEA and AMTZ, and we will point you to others maybe locally that can help you with that.
Beautiful. That will be very, very important. And what comes to mind is someone can ask the question, I see that there is sponsorship available. What does it mean? What is included in it?
Well, as you've already heard, good question. When you come to VISAG, and this program needs to be for the nearly 6 months from July 1 till the time of the World Health Innovation Forum in mid-December 2024, where you'll present your results, it's $2,000 for all of your food and lodging and needs during that time. It's a $2,000 course fee that covers all of your accommodations. And if your proposal is accepted, that has been sponsored. So there's room for 50 proposals. So that what I'm telling you is $100,000 has been raised by Jitendra and AMTZ and KIHT for this program. And so if you're accepted, the fees are paid.
Unbelievable. That is so inviting ideas. That's fantastic, Tom. Somewhat on a personal level, last November for the World Congress in India, my visa submission was refused. If I submit now a proposal and try to go to India, will that be a problem?
And it was a challenging process. We all know that. Some of us made it through, not everybody. But last year it was a conference visa in India. This year it's a business visa, short-term stay, long-term stay, different purposes. So yes, this is May 29th, right? And the program starts about 30 days from now.
Yeah.
AMTZ will help fast track it through for that business visa. Okay,
good. Now you're talking about somewhat of a long period. It's not just a weekend or a week conference-like, but it's a commitment of several months. And if I have a family, it will be difficult to separate and leave them behind. Would I be able to bring my family along?
Another good question. And the answer is yes, you will be able to. There is a place on site that's been created that is 500 people can stay there, and there's like 125 4-person suite area. It's a dorm, but it's a nicely appointed dorm. I'd be willing to stay there. You can bring your family and stay there. Their cost would be borne by you, but I can tell you they're very low cost.
And you being there personally, help a lot to send the message across the world how it's easy to get to VISAG and how well the hospitality serve all the guests. Like you experienced yourself during and Kaliroy during the Diwali. I remember the pictures were awesome. Maybe we can close with a specific idea of a case study. Would you have perhaps an example of somebody that can submit a specific idea?
Yes, and thank you. And you and I have looked at one of these proposals that's in so far because we were asked to contribute to it. That's the reason we got to look at it. And it's from a country in almost northernmost part of Africa, definitely an LMIC. The colleague that submitted this proposal and is likely to be a fellow, came away from VISAG, from the Congress and the forum last November, deeply excited. Now, this is a person who has served in his country's Ministry of Health for several years in responsible positions. He was related to health technology regulation of other things other than medical devices, but he got excited about how what he learned about health technology and medical devices could be applied to this other area of healthcare delivery that he's deeply involved in. So he wanted to use this, he wants to use this fellow opportunity to help his country do more in the health technology regulation area, but also enter the health technology management area, the medical device management area. And so his proposal reflects both of those sides. Because of his relationships in the Ministry of Health already, they will sign this proposal for him to work on the regulation side and the health technology management side, the clinical engineering, biomedical engineering part of it. The proposal says, do an assessment, a baseline assessment of several hospitals for how they're doing health technology management of medical devices now, and then respond to that and build up that program. So it's, and he's, because of his history with the Ministry of Health, he's got a close relationship with WHO representatives in his country. So he is primed and ready. His personal situation allows him to get away for 6 months and work on this. And then how would he be mentored while he's there? By people like ourselves, as well as people in his own country, these Ministry of Health leaders and the WHO folks. So I think this particular proposal as a case study is destined for success. Other thoughts, Jadine? I didn't cover everything, I'm sure.
No, you covered very well. And again, your personal experience in VISAG is very helpful as you go through and evaluate what might be questions that people that would like to submit have, and therefore provide additional information. I think that the cycle of innovation from idea to practicality is there. You also noted that a letter of recognition of a problem statement is a part of the process. It's important to work on it and provide that framework of what you would like to propose, you as submitter, to work on while you are in the program. I think that will do for us. I appreciate the time together, and I'm looking forward to hear from Kalam and AMTZ about the rest of the program.
Me too. And let me just say, like you said, I had the privilege of going to the 4th Global Forum on Medical Devices with WHO in December 2018, and then going back to VISAG to this site, to AMTC KIHT site here last November, 5 years later. And what an incredible explosion of great stuff going on at AMTZ. I don't have time to talk about it, but it's dramatic. They make everything from masks to MRIs, as Jitender says. But it's a wonderful site to foster innovation. And and by the way, if you have trouble getting one of your government leaders, we can help with that. We can because this program is seen globally as a program that's very credible. So now we're going to turn it back over to Jitender so he can correct any mistakes we said. So thanks, Yadin.
Thank you, Tom. Hi, Tom.
And Tom back here, and many of you that maybe joined a little late, Dr. Jitender Sharma had a delayed flight, so we're going ahead without him, but he's got an incredible team led by Remy and the board of the World Health Innovation Fellowship many are online here. Remy, any comments on the video that Yadin and I just made? Any corrections?
I think you extensively and very comprehensively covered every questions or anything that can be raised, any questions that can be raised. So yes, but if there's a family thing that is involved, if your family is traveling with you, you have to let us know before, and because we have to see the planning accordingly. And yes, sponsorship, it is only for your stay and your food that we are going to cover, not the travel. And it's a in-campus stay for all. Yeah. And visa, yes, one part that yes, it will be a business visa for all. So you have to immediately write to us because it will still take another, maybe 20 days for that. The entire application and procedure might take 15 to 20 more days, right? So that's what we thought, because we are doing this event, this webinar on the last day, almost on the last day of the last registration date, but we can actually extend for another 2 weeks for any new entry if we are getting. So if the 1st July is when the program starts, but we can extend the date for the joiners who are coming from GCEA.
Very good, Remy. I'm sure there's several questions, and we're going to have, by the way, it's almost half past the hour, but we're going to save the last 15 minutes here for Q&A and dive deeper into several questions. So, and I know the faculty is looking at some of the Q&A that have come up and looking at the chat to help with that. Next step we're going to do right now is hear from another perspective from Carla Blavelt of the World Health Innovation Fellowship Board, who also participated. You don't need me to talk about her. Let's roll her video also.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carla Blavelt. I am the Senior Director for Global Programs at Village Reach, and I'm based out of Malawi. I'll share some insights from last year's World Health Innovation Forum that should be useful for the 2024 fellows and those supporting them in their journey to increase access to healthcare for all. In November of 2024, I was honored to sit on a panel with the Malawi Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Kumbuzi Chiponda, and the Secretary for Health, Dr. Samson Ndolo. Our session was called Health Innovation Sourcing and Selection, Fostering Experimentation Perspectives from Governments and Other Actors. This session was outstanding as the Malawi Ministry of Health explained how they had embedded an innovative telehealth solution in government strategic plans and budgets and have managed to sustain that solution to this day. It was a shining example of government ownership and leadership and is already inspiring other countries. Introducing innovations in public systems is a journey. Here is the 10-year journey the Ministry of Health and Village Reach took for a health hotline and messaging service in Malawi that started with a government call for innovation, was co-developed with the government, proven impactful, then scaled, again proven impactful and affordable, and finally transitioned and sustained by the government. Now for some practical advice. For the 2024 fellows and those who will support them in their journeys, first, keep a constant focus on government alignment. This is not a one-off signature to get the fellowship, but rather really understanding the needs, strategic visions, and policies for the governments in the countries you work. It must be an ongoing conversation. Also, as you test for impact, keep long-term sustainability in mind. What type of innovation can be continued? And at what costs would it be affordable to be absorbed? You might not have all the answers now, but you should be constantly asking yourself and your partners, governments, and champions these questions. Also, you can reduce the risk and the time to results by using existing frameworks and tools available to set your key milestones on your journey. You can set those early, even if the timing changes, and adjust over time. And finally, remember that the value from innovation ultimately comes from the capacity of the health system to absorb and sustain the innovation. You need to know the user, the community, the customer, and the system if you want to truly have impact on health. Good luck as you embark on your new journey. You will have different opportunities to engage with coaches and others on more detailed approaches and tools available to you. In the meantime, do not hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thank you so much.
Of course, we're delighted to have Carla with us online today, and she can add any comments. A couple things have come to mind after I heard Remy and Carla here. One is that, you know, Dr. Jitendra Sharma is quite the visionary. And after this wonderful program, 750 people from, I think, 90 countries on site last November, he conceived of this fellow program, wants to have 50 fellows. And so if there's $2,000 cost each, for example, I think you may have heard me say already, $100,000 he's raised through other companies to pay for these fellows. Now, this first year, we're not likely to fill all 50 spots because once again, this is a visionary and he's trying to build towards this. Maybe by next year, because you're hearing things now, maybe you don't have time this year to propose and work out all the details. But so, you know, 50 fellows, maybe 25 spots or more will be filled this year. During that 6 months, Carla also talked about this, and I'm going to invite the faculty to speak as well. This is signed off by a government official. In my example, I talked about somebody who knows the Minister of Health, but he knows the number 2 in the Ministry of Health Department that oversees all healthcare delivery, and that's the person who signed his proposal. And he's also very tied into the WHO people. So the in-country people, as Carla just said, are very important during that 6-month period to mentor and to make sure there's agreement with national leaders. But also particularly, and I know Mladen asked this in the Q&A, our colleague, president-elect of GCEA, ask, you know, if it's a clinical engineering, biomedical engineering that serves at the point of care proposal or part of a proposal, certainly GCEA and IFMB Clinical Engineering Division and others will help mentor and assist from a distance. So mentoring will come locally and globally and so forth. Carla, other comments you're thinking of?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, just there will be people and also the different tools and resources and everything that people bring to the table and case studies and others. So that's it. And so good luck to the team.
Well, Carlin, you know, you had a great example of real life, and you're a real life minister. You know, I don't have that, you do, but you're an NGO that walked with that particular project for 15 years, but you were able, you know, now maybe you're taking it to a new level, but you had that close relationship and you were able to lean on that and partner with those folks. So Remy, AMTZ, KIHT, you know, what do you folks want to talk about here in the next few minutes before we get to the Q&A?
Yeah, I think a simple message that I'm sure they might be having this question coming ahead, but that a simple message that, you know, it is just not discussing the idea, but giving shape to the idea. So whatever it requires to give a shape to your idea and transform it into a product, we have everything here. So you will get a first-hand experience to manufacture, in fact, or build a first prototype if it is just in idea stage right now. So that is the kind of ecosystem that we have where you actually can explore and you can convert it into a reality. Yeah.
So I know there's other faculty members here from the Fellowship Governing Board, and they are welcome. And here, thank you, Calroy. This is a picture of folks, and maybe make that a little bit bigger if we can zoom. Yeah. Several folks. Go ahead, Remy.
It's a 12-member society that we have. So these are our experts from different background, where we have Thomas as well. Yeah.
So Dr. Anil Wali, they're from India, and Carla from Malawi, as you heard, and Dr. Anil from Bangladesh, and Dr. Priya from India, and I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but Dr. Kati from South Africa, Dr. Priya. So take it over, Remy. You know everybody's locations better than I.
So we have Dr. Jitendra Sharma, Dr. Anil Wali, and Ms. Sanya from India, and we have Dr. Priya from Singapore, and we have Dr. Priyanka from India. Then yes, and rest of the team we already introduced. Yeah.
Very good. So is there other faculty? Go ahead, Yadin.
Remy mentioned a couple very interesting teaching point about the program, about the faculty. There is interesting question that came up about the IP protection of the innovation. And maybe Remy can tell us more about will the Kalam Institute and AMTZ will be in a position to help protect IP for innovation that the fellows will develop?
Yes. So, so Mohini, would you like to take over this question? Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you, Tom, Yadin, Carla, and the entire board, and especially thank you, Mr. Remy, for taking this session forward so far. Welcome, everybody, and it's a pleasure to meet you all face to face, especially all the applicants that I can see here who have been selected. About AMTZ, if you permit, we'd like to play a small video on our ecosystem to show you what we are, and then I'll take it further.
So Mohini, you guys can share the screen and show the video.
Go ahead.
And make sure you add the sound to your video for the sharing.
Yeah, Mohini, you can share it. Okay, so maybe you can answer the question.
Yeah, you can send it to us, and we'll share it here in a minute, Mohini.
Yeah.
Send it by WhatsApp if you can't. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, innovation is at the edge of chaos. So we're bringing a little bit of order to the chaos.
Yeah. So, Mohini, you can address the question on the IP, and meanwhile, we can be ready with that video. So you can please.
And I did throw an answer that had been provided by AMTZ earlier, that the IP rests with the innovators and the co-innovators without any involvement of KIHT. So that's the hopefully clear question, clear answer.
Unless you want to partner, into tech transfer and all that, then that's a different scenario. But yes, and we have a team inside campus who actually helps you with this kind of queries and certification and addresses such questions. So yes, they will be able to help you more.
Can you share? Can you see my screen?
No. Yeah.
Mohini, you're going to have to share the sound from your video. There you go. Thanks, Mohini. There was a lot of things going on in that great video. One of them was during COVID, 2020 to 2023, rough time frame. There were millions of PCR kits, lab testing kits for COVID. There were hundreds of thousands of ventilators, oxygen concentrators being built, shared across the country. You through 80 warehouses across India, for example, and you could rent through Uber for $5 a day an oxygen concentrator to the citizens of India, but they were serving countries around them as well. There was incredible outpouring of production for AMTZ to serve their own country and beyond during COVID. Also, there was a glimpse of the 2018 Fourth Global Forum on Medical Devices, as well as the November 2023 Congress and exhibition of health technology management, clinical and biomedical engineering, followed by the World Health Innovation Forum. So a lot going on, but I think you get a sense of the breadth of the facilities available on site to help the fellows work with their proposals. The video said 120 companies. I know it's now over 140 companies that are working together on site to try to build better and better, quicker, faster medical devices and other tools. So other faculty comments here before we go into the Q&A in a couple minutes?
Dr. Priya, Dr. Anuj, would you like to add something?
Well, greetings, everyone. I'm calling from Arizona, US, and so was listening to Tom and Yedin, amazing presentation. So, well, I'm part of the board, and I have been physically there in the AMTZ campus. It is really an amazing ecosystem. That experience will definitely be amazing for all of you whosoever gets a chance to go and spend months there. So I wish all the best, and that is what I want to say in this few minutes. So
Thank you. And maybe Dr. Priya? I know everybody doesn't have an ideal connection, and so sometimes things can be tough. So
maybe Remy can answer some question that's coming up as people are waiting for the opportunity to hear more detail. One of them came from Fred, who is asking, will there be a designated work space?
Yeah, so cubicle, we need to look into how many seats we have, but yes, there will be workspace. There will be standard tables and chairs and workstation given to you. There will be standard labs where you can actually test your products and you can do your engineering. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cubicles right now, I cannot promise.
another question that was already answered.
And knowing Fred, he probably wouldn't type it, but he has a question about can he dance there also?
Otherwise known as Tango Fred.
Definitely.
We
have a 6,000
some not so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the scholarship question that came in. And then I know somebody I'm maybe talking over, I'm sorry. So once again, from July 1 to mid-December, nearly 6 months on site, food and accommodation, living expenses while you're there, $2,000 US. And I was saying earlier, that's sponsored by other companies because they want to foster innovation. And so if your proposal is accepted and you can start July 1 or even 2 weeks late, we heard Remy talking about, because everything's in a hurry here this first time, yes, the on-site expenses will be covered. Your family would be an additional, although it's not too expensive, and your travel costs are on your own, but they will help you with your business visa.
To add
Somebody
to
else?
what Fred asked, to add to what Fred asked, so we have 32 Center of Excellences on campus.
Mohi, I think you've logged in from your phone as well. No? Okay.
We were hearing you echo, Mohini.
No issues.
But I heard you saying there's all these different hubs for all kinds of technologies related to devices and so much more on site that can assist you. So even though you might have a space where you hang out, there's many other places on the campus you could go to work on your project during the days and the weeks.
Yeah.
And we're seeing some of these questions were answered, but we'll address them for the wider group. I know in the country I talked about, by the way, the one that I talked about in my brief video earlier with Yadin is Somalia. And Somalia is doing some work with regulation of health technology. And this is a proposal that's accepted is the reason I'm telling you about it right now. And even maybe the fellow that's been accepted is online right now, as there are several other accepted fellows online right now. But you know, Global Clinical Engineering Alliance is particularly focused on clinical engineering and biomedical engineering that serves at the point of care assessment and implementation of advances. And so that's going to happen in Somalia. Our colleague Riyadh is in Boston, US, but from Lebanon is working on it across the Middle East. We can help. Yes, GCEA can help with that in those particular areas, and many other on the faculty like Dr. Anuj and like Dr. Priya and others. Carla can help in other areas, you know, that you've already heard about. So the board is ready to help in what area is of your interest. Over to others.
Remy, a couple more questions coming up. One is simply people who came late have a question about where can I apply? And I think
I have given the link. I'm again giving them for the people who joined late. So you can check out in the chat. I have given you the link. You can just
And Remy, that needs to go to everyone, not to the panelists. So you have to put it in a different chat.
Just a minute. I'll make it.
That would be very helpful.
Make it everyone. And then, yeah, I've shared it with all.
And
there's a quote.
Another question came up is what about material like electronic component that we'll need for building prototypes and so on? Will those be provided?
So depending on the kind of product it is, the kind of cost it is leading to, since we have some funding with us, if it is fitting in the budget, we can definitely support. And if it is exceeding that, then you might have to shell it from your pocket. So that we can look into. That's not a problem, that we can figure out if it is that expensive. Yeah. Depends on the cost.
Very, very, very helpful answers. I saw somebody raising hand, Tom.
Very good. But they can also put their question in the chat. That would help. Fred is asking, can he get a list of current and planned projects at AMTZ for the fellow program, I'm assuming, Fred. And, you know, we can try to get something out here in early June. You know, Dr. Sharma will decide, but yeah, in other words, people want to know who else is going to be there and what they might be doing. And we'll try to get something out in June on that. Yadin, maybe you can see the question better than I can. From the raised hand.
Yeah, I should be looking at all the participants.
Katie, can you put the question, even if it's in French, do you mind putting it in the chat? That would be easier.
From Kadi Dakura.
Right. I believe from Senegal.
Okay.
And as you saw in the chat earlier, we're delighted to have, you know,
can we
on 250 registrants from 70 countries. But
can we unmute Kadi?
In the 5 minutes left, we may be able to, we may not.
Good morning.
Good, we hear you.
Hi, Kadi.
Yes, nice to meet you again. Thank you so much to meet again.
Hi, Kadi.
Remy Tapa and Madam Moini, nice to meet you. And thank you for so much to the GCEA Alliance also. So we are very happy to find this time to participate to the World Health Organization fellowship because we are part of West Africa, and as you see, there is a barrier of language, and it has been a nice concept to include our application from IMTZ. We congratulate IMTZ, but because all support from Africa were for West or South African country. And now we are very delighted to see that West African country has their part of the fellowship. So I have two questions. First about the organization and second about the management of the project. About the organization, I would like to know about application. Actually, they have already selected to follow, and now what is accepted for fellows about granting of visa. I think that I have already response, but about their accommodation and about the extra payment, about extra charge, what they have to prepare for them. I think that they have to support their own ticket flight. And as for accommodation, what do you think? Do you think they can be sponsorized for the rest? And because if they come to the training, do you think that there is any fellow, how can I say, about the fellowship? Is there any thing that you owe to the candidates? For the organization, what I would like to know about the project is what is the proposed accepted result from the project in these 6 months, and the impact that can be positive in our, how can I say, in our health national system. And is there any follow-up or any evaluation after that? I would like to know about, and are you going to support them in evaluation?
Katie, we need to finish the question so we can try to get an answer, because we're going to end the program in about 2 minutes.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think it's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing that's true is that you conceive of a project to make a change, make an innovation in your country. You get signed off by some senior official. You come and do the work. You're mentored by people from outside your country as well as people from inside your country during that 6 months. You present the work of the 6 months at that World Health Innovation Forum 2024 there in mid-December this year, and then you go home and implement. So that's the expectation, is that you develop something, you fine-tune it, you present it, and then you've been working with your country all along, and then you to develop it, and then you go home and implement it. That's and we talked earlier in the video, maybe you missed it, that there is a very nice accommodation facility on the AMTZ site that has 125 4-person suites. So you could bring a family there, or you could be with colleagues in that 4-person suite. And that's part of that $2,000 cost that's being sponsored. And so you don't have to pay. So like you said, you have to pay for travel and so forth. Other comments?
Yeah, there is a question from Fred, and he is interested to know if he traveling from one part of the world to another and need few days to catch up on the time zone differences and culinary experiences and so on. Will AMTZ or Kalam Institute will be able to accommodate a local hotel for a few days?
Before the forum and the Congress last year, there was what, a 5 or so day, 7 day Golden Triangle, and that was on your own cost, although AMTZ helped package it so that it was very low cost and wonderful, and several of us got to go on all or part of it. So we'll work that offline, Fred. Any last questions, comments by the faculty, because we have run out of time? So Fred, you can dance on the Golden Triangle wherever you want. Tango and other dances.
Thank you.
You can you know, a lot of the questions are about, am I going to have a team? Well, the team is going to be you with your outside support and your country support. But you'll be around, as you heard me say, maybe 20, 25 others that are working on similar projects. So you'll be able to bounce ideas off others and, you know, use that network locally there at AMTZ, not only all the wonderful people on site, but your other fellows to work on your ideas. So I hope that's reasonably clear. Once again, there's not an answer to every question because this is the first time we've done it, right?
Remy placed the website for all of you to visit and see more details, as well as find the application form and the requirement for support letter, etc. If you have questions, please direct them to Remy at AMTZ or Meta Mohini. They will be happy to help you. This is a beginning class that will have many, many more to come. I'm delighted to be joining by Tom in trying to answer as many questions as possible. I wish you success and great career, and looking forward to see the product in the field showing that you are able to become not only innovator, but actually solve problems. Thanks for the faculty. Kaliroy, thank you for all the help behind the screen. And bye-bye from Houston, Texas.
So just the last thing, we have left an email ID for everyone. So anyone have any query, they can reach out to Mohini. Mohini, I've given your email ID for them.
And all the registrants will get the video of this program. So
look at the chat column. You have the email to have personal questions or any other information you want, as well as the website address. Good luck.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.